Hello and welcome to WION, World is One. I'm Kanishka Sarkar and today let's talk about how passport fee in India has gone up for the first time in over a decade. But is this simply an inflation adjustment or does it signal a bigger shift in the cost of international travel? Let's break it down with Mithali Nikor, the economist and founder of Nikor Associates. Hi Mithali, thank you so much for joining me on WION today. Now, passport fees, they have been risen sharply after nearly 14 years. What do you think? Why was a one-time large increase chosen instead of a gradual fee hike?
So I think, very honestly, when we think about the passport fees, it does not actually impact a large section of the population. It only impacts, say, students who are going abroad to study, business travelers, who are in those sections of the population where they can actually afford to pay for a lot of these services. And there is a huge cost, which is actually at the back of this because there's a whole digitization of passport records. There's a digitization and also moving towards passports, e-visas. That's the vision for the government. So I think the costs have gone up and commensurately as have the charges.
Right. Mithali, speaking of the digitization that you were talking about, the government is expanding passport services and rolling out e-passports, right? So is this fee hike mainly funding better infrastructure and technology? Would that what you say?
So I would say it's a combination of two things. One is that the personnel who are in the immigration departments, the kind of data management they now have to do, there's a lot of expanded responsibility on these personnel because we're also seeing a situation where, there is a need to track where Indians are traveling internationally. That has also expanded. So the data management cost has definitely gone up. And then the second is the personnel cost, which has also gone up in the immigration departments. It's quite an irony that I'm talking to you from Mumbai airport today, and it's evident in the kind of services that we're seeing at the airport, the government services and the security services. Those are also important components of this cost, and I think recoveries from that section of the population which can most afford it, giving these services to a wider range of people, that's the kind of cross subsidization and calculus that the government is doing.
All right, so that's about the fee, but let's also talk about a recent row. Now, the government recently clarified that a passport is a travel document, not proof of citizenship. Now, could that affect how people view the value of paying more for a passport?
So I definitely think that, even today, when you look at the proportion of the population that actually holds a passport, it is still very much restricted to, the higher income groups. It is very much restricted to those with higher education levels as well, because you still need, an educational certificate and educational qualifications to hold a passport. So very honestly, it's still not a document which is, a widely held document by the large swathes of the Indian population. But I do hope that in the coming years, we'll see a lot of tradespersons who are, now very highly skilled tradespersons like plumbers and care workers also going in and investing in their own passports and even domestic workers because they would be traveling abroad increasingly in the next few decades to service foreign economies.
Right, I was just going to come to that. Fair point that not a large proportion of the population is affected by this fee hike, but for migrant workers who are heading abroad, higher passport and documentation cost, that can be significant, right? So will this make overseas employment more expensive or difficult for some of the applicants? What's going to be the overall impact on workers and, say, students?
So I think we should probably look at both the categories a little bit differently. When we look at workers, in many cases, the employers and employment contracts actually cover a lot of these costs. In fact, they also cover the cost of renewing a passport or getting a passport in case the worker does not have one, as well as the visa costs. So I feel like for workers, and also for a lot of these foreign companies, it is not a very big increase for them. It's just not even a decimal point, when you look at the per worker increase. So I don't think the worker category would be that impacted. For students, I definitely think, again, there are two categories of students. There are certain students for whom the cost is not that much of a concern. They already probably hold passports, or even in the future when they renew them, it's really not a price elastic group. But the group which is going to be most impacted are those students who are going abroad to study because of the costs. People
Correct.
going to pursue their medical education in a Central Asia or even in Bangladesh. We have a lot of Northeastern students who go to Bangladesh to study medicine. So those are the groups which will be minorly impacted, but the increase itself, is not a recurring cost. It's a one-time cost. So you take that cost and then, it's an investment in your future education and in your future career. So I do think that, impact still remains minimal.
Okay, so that's the point that you have made, that the impact remains minimal. But just one thing here, in a lot of cases, especially students and workers that you were talking about, many times there's also middlemen involved, visa agents, etc., who may charge a lot higher now that the fees has also gone up. Is that a possibility that we are looking at? And secondly, speaking of international travel with this higher fee, there's also increased airfares and fewer credit card travel perks starting this month. Do you think foreign travel is becoming less affordable for the middle class Indians?
So I do think that, firstly, on your question of middlemen and travel agencies, definitely it's an opportunity for them, to step in and I would say support people who are looking for their services. But at this point in time, it really cuts into their margins if they try to, hike their fees or their service fees too much, because if there's already an increase in the actual cost of getting a passport, then how would, that actually translate into the service fees of a middle person? And very honestly, I do think that the government here really has expanded the services available to the common people. And to say that if you want to renew a passport, there's a very clear process now. I don't think a middleman or a middle person can really help that much in today's times. So I think the direct government services have genuinely improved, in especially in tier one cities. I do agree that in tier two cities, there is a need for the government also to step in and expand public services, especially passport access. Now,
Right.
coming to, the other point on the middle class and leisure travel, what you're essentially pointing out to is like a leisure travel category. I for sure agree with you that it is more expensive now to plan a trip abroad. If you just want to go for a holiday, and if you have a family holiday, of course, it becomes all the more expensive. And I think that somewhere that is the government's intention, because we've heard it hundreds of times that, why don't you holiday in India? Pick holiday destinations domestically. And I think somewhere there is a need, there is a move from the government also to incentivize domestic tourism.
Right. Okay. And if we could talk about on a macro basis, when you combine fuel surcharges, passport costs, visa expenses, and shrinking travel benefits, do you think is the cost of travel rising faster than people's incomes?
So I think that's the entire issue. Why are we traveling, right? Because if say for example we are traveling for business purposes, a lot of times, say as a startup founder myself, I've had to make a decision. Do I actually do this business development trip? Do I actually attend this conference, or do I skip it and attend it virtually, or talk to, do that meeting virtually? And I think that's a trade-off that startups and SMEs are making in real time. And I think that really has very serious economic impacts, because, if that business deal didn't go through, it means I could not create 5 more jobs, which I would have if I had got that project. So I think that's where, some amount of support is required for SMEs and for startups. When it comes to leisure travel, I think leisure travel is not something that we do very often. If you're doing a leisure trip, you probably do it once in a year. So you will have some sort of a trip, at least, for leisure purposes. It might not be a foreign trip now. It might be a domestic trip. So I don't think leisure travel is that badly impacted. But business travel, especially in the startup and SME segment, has been, badly hit, because there are very serious choices that we all are making as a startup community on, whether to take that trip or not.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much, Mithali, for sharing all of those insights. Lovely chatting with you.
Absolutely, same here.
Right? Well, the passport fee hike is about more than just paperwork. It reflects the rising cost of travel itself. The question now is whether international travel remains accessible for ordinary Indians in the years ahead.